during the, you have opportunities to become a black belt or whatever you want to. I'm like, no thanks. I would just leave just before any of those things would happen, and I just.
And then that's true. I think you could say, because you don't necessarily have the, well, now you do.
Yeah,
because of the OKO. So thank you guys. But prior to that, you may not have had the credentials, but you had the experience.
Oh yeah, from way back then to what I am now, and I think I've garnered enough experience to say that I don't know what level you would put me at.
Dude, you've also been a security guard for what, 40 years?
40 years, yeah.
40 years of dealing with disgruntled people, with drunks, with fights.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. And this is what I really want to point out to people, is that yes, he hasn't pursued any credentials. He's very grateful for the ones he recently received from the OKO, but you have experience in something where martial arts kind of shines.
Okay.
And I think some of our the people that we know that watch the show would agree that, yeah, dude, I mean, those few times where we have shared with small group of people, with the friends in private, in their homes, they see the legitimacy of what you bring to the table.
Yeah, and again, I credit that to Danny's ideals of taking something, exploring it within yourself, and then having it manifest and doing it, and then being able to teach it. Right, our levels of understanding is what?
Gross motion, details, variation, teaching it, and then your own version of it,
right? And obviously, I'm at that fifth level of understanding where I can take something, understand it, and be able to give it to somebody else.
And then we go backwards. We teach it, then we give the variation of it, then we take the details, and then the gross motion.
And Danny would be one of the first people to tell you, like, Rick is able to take something and develop it and have it become something, and then he would say, and it's the correct path to what it should be, right? Just from looking at it the one time or hearing about it the one time. And my brain, for whatever reason, and you always call me an alien, because
he really is.
Crazy way of just analyzing something and looking at all the things and what we then developed as the 360 idea.
Dude, it's taken people who are mathematicians, neurologists, as well as a few psychiatrists to kind of put together this. And for me, this is my own personal study. These are the people that I've talked to outside of Rick in reference to the way he views things. Yeah, dude, it's not what most people think. You think in three-dimensional space, which is unheard of. You don't think linearly, like it's not like, the beginning, the middle, and the end. No, you look at the entire picture as if all the pages are spread out at once.
I kind of credit that to
dyslexia.
Well, that and storytelling.
You might be autistic.
Yeah, whenever I write stories, right? I write stuff, right? And I always have the entirety of the story in my head. It's always complete already, and all I have to do is write it down, and it'll be complete.
Pieces, yeah.
And I hardly ever have to change anything along the way. It all just goes. But that's just how my mind works. So when I see something, whether it's movement or somebody tells me, whatever it is, and I'll say, oh, that's this idea, and they're like, yeah, that's exactly what it should be. Folks, I really don't know how I do it. I'm just able to. All right, I mean, that's the closest I could come to it, right?
Oh yeah, but then because of Colleague Conversation, we've talked to some incredible practitioners, and the conversations that we have off camera.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is just because now we're talking to the individual about ideas. Many of the grandmasters and great grandmasters that we've talked to agree with a lot of your theories and principles on martial arts and fighting in general.
Yeah, and that always scares me because because prior to that conversation, or when I say what I say, in my head I believe it should work.
Right.
I believe because when you think of something, you say, okay, this looks like a logical thing, and I look at it, and what do? I test it on you guys, right? You guys are my beta testers.
Guinea pigs.
All the time. And I make you guys do things. I say, oh, here, try that, and it works.
Oh, hey, that worked out.
You know, so in my head, I see it as a fully functional thing.
Well, yeah, the complete story.
And then to hear it from a great grandmaster, you know, and all these other people that we talk to on the show, and we share ideas, and they're like, yeah, that's actually a legitimate thing. And prior to that, I don't know whether it really would or wouldn't outside of what I do.
Right.
But when somebody else starts telling you, yeah, that's actually legit, and you know that's viable, and oh, that would be a good seminar, right? Like one of our friends would say. Then I'm like, yay, you know, I must have did something right in this process.
And then I want to point out something. It's not that Rick has been looking for that validation, which is why he gets so surprised, because he doesn't expect it or even think that it is needed. But when he gets it, it's like, oh, okay. Well, what better credentials than those grandmasters agreeing?
Yeah, you know, and that's it. I mean, it's validation for me to say that maybe I have something, you know, that is worthy of a second or third look to say, yes, that is something that other people have even thought of even before, you know. Just because I think it's something, to me, is new, but it could have been old as dirt, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody does, you know, we go through our own processes.
2 arms, 2 legs. I mean, we eventually reach the same conclusion.
Exactly. But for me to find it on my own without, you know, the guidance of whoever, right? I mean, Danny has taken me in all kinds of crazy directions and brought up all these things. Then I just take all that and I extrapolate and I do this stuff. And here's the thing.
Which is essentially the process that he taught us, was to, hey, do something with this.
Right, turn it into whatever you can for you, right? So in that sense, you know, I'm fortunate enough that, one, the people that we have been able to talk to, because of our shows, because of the relationship that we have with the tribe of Dennis Duarte and friends, Mike Cardenas, Bob Gomez, all of these guys, you know, in one way or another have validated what we talk about. You know, whether it's from me, you, or from Danny, the Bladed Mind as an eclectic group of guys who have come up with ideas. They're telling us, yeah, these are legitimate ideas.
And in a way, we've been influenced by them as well in reference to our
growth. Yes, you know, very much so. You know, I love picking their brains, and they don't realize I'm picking their brains. You know.
Now you know, folks.
I don't just blatantly say, "Hey, give me this idea." But during conversation, I'm getting all these things, and they're like, "Okay, cool. Now I know, you know, what will or what won't, or what should and what shouldn't be."
Yeah. So if you ever see him in one of the seminars and he's just kind of quietly pacing about, you know what he's doing now.
Yeah, seminars. And I'm almost embarrassed to say this. I don't go to the seminars for the seminars.
No,
right? I never really participate. But as Grandmaster, Supreme Grandmaster Green has said time and time again, he doesn't go there to learn or to do the things. He goes there to learn and watch and get ideas, and he'll take it home and he'll develop it to whatever it's going to become.
Yeah, he only said that because his wife questioned, why the hell are you going?
Because I'm picking up ideas. And it's not that, you know, and we don't really even have to talk to anybody, because you look at things and you say, okay, that actually looks legit. What do I think of that? And the things that I come up with are never the same exact thing that they're doing, but because of the concept that they gave me as an idea, I said, oh, I
can use that.
Yeah, right? So that's where a lot of my stuff comes from.
Well, not just that, though. It's also the years of experience that you've had at your job, the different martial arts, the fights that you've been in. All those things have influenced the way you view martial arts and then the way that you teach martial arts. Yeah,
and you know, I really pride myself on that, because the teaching part is the part that I like to do a lot. I've always, you know, and you get mad at me about this, you know, I don't even care about the money aspect of it all, right? Everything
that we're now putting it on the camera, though, is just
yeah, you know, I mean, I'm not that guy that wants to charge an arm and a leg for something that people like. I feel that people should learn this just to protect themselves and their loved ones.
Yeah, right? I mean, and we do self-protection
yeah.
class, primarily for women, but men can also do it too. And we don't charge for that, and I'm okay with that. But dude, gas is expensive.
Yes.
All right, but you should at least get some gas money out of it.
Well, yeah.
You know, at one point,
and he's been teaching me to do that part.
you know, at one point, most of the gas money you did get was from me.
Yes.
Because we'd have class 2 to 3 times a week.
Pretty much.
With privates. So, on top of that, then it was a Saturday class with Danny, and then I'd pay him.
Yeah, you know, and that was the cool thing is like, you know,
Which I didn't mind doing, by the way.
Yeah. I used the money that we get from here, as little as it was, really to feed us. You know?
We went out to eat
Yeah, we would
afterwards
go out to
and
eat.
talk more.
Exactly. That or you know, I can treat my wife to dinner.
Oh yeah, and she's little, so she doesn't eat that much. So
Exactly. We usually buy one meal and we split it.
Yeah. Oh, and then now with your eating habits, you eat half your food. So
yeah,
there you go.
I even eat how about yeah. So yeah, it was never about a money thing for me.
No.
You know, and I know you get on me on that a lot.
Mm.
But I just enjoy the teaching of it. You know, I teach balloons, I teach whatever else that I stuff that I know, and you know, I enjoy that. So for me, it's just getting to be in front of somebody who isn't going to hit me or you know, or can't hit me, as it were.
Yeah, that was a crack on me, folks. I can hit you sometimes. Shut up.
Only when I let you.
You know what? I will get a pair of sticks right now, dude. We will do this. I know it's gonna hurt, but I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Let's not. You have some kids that you have to go home to.
Yeah, it's not a good day to die.
Not a good thing to do. Ask Worf, he knows. He's become a pacifist.
Yeah, there you go. So this is then the Rico Ramos journey in the martial arts.
Yeah.
Where do you go from here?
You know, I've been inspired of late. Well, two trains of thought here. I wanted to give everything that I do to you.
Oh, I'm taking it.
And let you know, let you do your thing with it. And I always told them, if you ever open a school, I want to be the janitor.
Mm-hmm.
So he just sits in the back and just kind of cleans up and whatever else.
It makes fun of the guy teaching.
You know, because I kind of want to get away from having a school and stuff like that, right? I mean, we don't really even have a school. We have a group of people who get together and we just play.
Yep.
Right. You know,
Mostly sparring.
just a friendly gathering, and they give me money for whatever I teach, right? But beyond that, I never wanted to do anything more than that. But of late, the second part of this is that I've been getting all these people who are acknowledging me, like OKO, thank you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Other people that we've been talking to, and yesterday we had the opportunity to talk to. I guess he's a grandmaster.
Yeah.
Right.
And his card says Eskrima, but he also does Kung Fu.
Kung Fu, right?
Yeah.
And this is Ron Lu.
Ron
It
Lu.
was a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Awesome guy.
Can't wait to have you on our show.
Funny as hell. Yeah, we will get you on the show. We will go down to San Jose and find you, mister. I don't have a school. I only do seminars.
But, you know, he was very encouraging. I was talking to him about some of my ideas. He says, no, that's exactly how that should be. And he isn't the first person to say that. And the fact that OKO acknowledges what I do, and a bunch of other people that we talk to, you know, I'm kind of wanting to go and do some seminars, or just, you know, just to show what we have. Because now that we're getting these validations from people who feel that, no, you have legitimate ideas, maybe it's time to put myself out there. Something that's still in the work, folks. It's nothing that's etched in stone. It's just kind of going in my head.
He's a bit reluctant.
Yeah, that word.
He doesn't want to become the egotistic monster that he believes himself to be.
Or could be. No, not at all. You know,
we're kind of like-minded in that sense.
It kind of scares me in a sense.
No, I'm right there with you, dude. The reason why I feel awkward receiving any acknowledgement is because I was like, wait, like I've gone down that route. I mean, you've had to slap me out of the arrogant, you know, path, right? The dark side, let's say. Because I was there, and then when I finally acknowledged it, like I hated myself for it.
Right.
You know, and if that's the kind of person that we are, if we were ever to let our ego get the best of us, we would hate ourselves.
Yeah, and me more so, because it's really the way I've lived my life, right? Very humble, very quiet about things. And, you know, for the longest time, a lot of people didn't know I did martial arts.
Nope.
Even in school, when they knew I knew how to fight, I would never brag about it. I would never say, oh, I got a karate class, I do this and I do that and whatever else. It was never about that. They just understood, oh, Rick can fight, you know, because
They saw it.
yeah, because they would see it, like, oh shit, Rick's going to a fight, quick, come on, 2 watch, it'll be fun. Like, no, that wasn't my intent.
Rick fought a guy with a gun.
Yeah, that's crazy shit.
You know, rumors have it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he took him out. No, I didn't. No, I talked my way out.
Took him out.
Yeah, I meant talk my way out. Yeah. You know, became good friends. No. But no, it's just one of those things where I like what I do. I love the people that we get to meet. You know, when you first walked into my door to learn, right? Almost
9 years ago.
9 years ago, I saw this kid who was looking for something to make himself better. He wanted to protect himself. Comes in, hey, I really want to learn. I've been looking around. I've been walking around. I saw you guys. I want to come in here. I gave you an idea that I planted in your head. It was not even anything that spectacular, but because of what I did and what I showed you, you were very eager the very next day to come back. Right? I showed you body mechanics and how it works. And I knocked the stick out of your hand, you know, you're holding it, and you're thinking, oh, machismo, Mexican guy, and I smack, and the stick flew, and you're like, wow.
The fuck was that?
Yeah. How's this old man being able to do this shit, right? And, you know, from then on, you never left. And I'm like, fuck, man, now we got another mouth to feed, right? So.
But I paid my dues.
You did, you paid your dues. But because of what I saw in you and how you developed, I have always thought to myself, like almost 3 years in after teaching you, I wondered to myself, could I do this again? Could I replicate this? Could I get somebody else to be as good, right? And throughout the years, after the 3 years, you just kept on coming back, and you did have those moments of arrogance where I had to knock that shit out of you real fast, but you kept coming back. You humbled yourself, you did all these, and you still kept wanting to learn.
I'm just stubborn.
Yeah. 9 years later, here you are being acknowledged by everybody you come in contact with. You know, you watch our shows, folks. He's the guy doing all the demos, and he plays uki to everybody. But in those instances where you do that, you're learning even that much more beyond what me and Danny have ever taught you, right?
Yeah, really cool.
You know, you get better ideas, you get better concept of what's going on, and you develop yourself. You know, I can almost say you and I are equals in that sense. You know, that I don't, although you're my student, I don't really think of you as my student. I see you as an equal.
You really do adhere to the idea that you're not above
Not at all.
the person you do. You actually almost even put the student above yourself.
Every chance I get. Only because I think it's important for them to understand that I'm just a guy who knows stuff. And if you're willing to learn it and make yourself better, then you are better than me. You know, that you are worthy of saying, yeah, I learned, and here's what I developed on my own because of this old man's teachings. Right? Because that's what it's all about for me.
It is.
I mean, and that's what I see in you. Whenever I see you talking to people and, you know, giving your ideas and explanations of things, and even in your movements, which is some really good stuff, I see it. I was like, okay, how do I work with it? So now we have a couple of students that I've been able to do that with. You know, Risa Marquez, awesome. You know, the fun thing about Risa, right? She doesn't come to class on a regular basis.
Nope.
But every time she comes here, what happens?
Jesus Christ.
Right?
Yeah, she picks it up so fast.
Yeah, she's right back as if she never missed it.
Right. It takes her like, oh, I'm a little rusty. And then like 30 minutes later, she's moving like she's never moved before. I'm like, what the what do you mean rusty?
And then we have Eric, right? And Eric, this guy, my God, in the last 5 months of training, I mean, this guy has excelled so much.
Dude, he's one of the more powerful students that we have.
Yeah, and it's his body weight and everything, and the mechanics that he's been able to figure out is just incredible.
Dude, when he figures out his soft touch, that's gonna be
so
insane.
Think about Mia as the guy who's showing these people how to move and play and do what they do.
Well, even Kevin, I mean, that's already three
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah. To be able to do that and replicate what I did with you with these people really makes me feel like, okay, I have something here. How do we then bottle it and put it out there, right?
So here's devil's advocate, right?
Yeah.
With a certificate, it opens the door to be able to do that with more people.
If you're asking whether I want to do that, I don't know.
Oh no, I'm not asking if you're going to be able to do that. I'm just saying with that acknowledgement,
Yeah.
it now opens up a larger road for people to come to you.
Oh yeah, I think and what did it do? It did the one thing that I didn't want it to do.
Yep.
It put a name to a face or a face to the name that says, "Hey, this guy knows something. Go seek him out." And I'm hoping, no, don't knock on my door. I might not answer it. There's reluctancy, right?
Let's just say he's selective about who he teaches.
Oh yes.
Don't take it personal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably you, but don't take it personal.
No, I just one of the things that Danny taught me in the beginning, right? If you're taking on students, you got to make sure that they really want to be there.
He does have a long interview process.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He would take 2 to 3 hours and talk to them about why do you want to be here, what's your end goal, blah blah. All
get
these
a good
things.
sense.
Get a good sense of you just want to learn how to beat up kids. No, you can't, right? You remember that one time we had that one student.
Yeah.
He kind of big stocky guy. He worked out in gym a lot. Just really just buffed guy, right? And he approached me one day and he says, "Hey, can you teach me how to get out of handcuffs while the cops are putting it on me?" I'm like, "Yeah, no." At least he was honest.
At least, yeah. That was. I mean, you can't fault him for that. You're just an idiot.
Yeah, I just so obviously right there and then he said, "No." He goes, "Oh, I give you money." No.
Oh, and there are even students that you just said, "Hey, this might not be the best place for you."
Right, because it's folks, if you don't evaluate your stuff and the guy who's wanting to use your stuff, you're going to have all kinds of issues.
It gets dicey.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're almost giving a loaded gun to somebody
and
giving them free rein to do what they want with it.
Oof.
Right? Because we've always believed that once you pay me for something, it's yours.
Yeah.
You can do with it whatever you want.
And we still believe that.
And in the law, you become kind of responsible for that guy, because you're.
Hey man, I just work here. I'm the janitor.
Yeah, that's right. Now you know. I was just the janitor. I was just cleaning up stuff. I showed him a couple of things, right? See, there's logic in everything I do.
There is, but I don't know. I think that would be more benefit to the martial arts world if you did it. Bow out and put yourself in the shadow.
It's something that I'm still thinking about. I kind of want to be away from it, but I don't want to be away from it, if that makes any sense.
You don't want to be involved in the politics of it, but you want to keep teaching.
Yes. Whether it's underground or just me and one or two students, And
Underground?
back into the backyard.
Let's start a fight club.
Back to my backyard.
Back to your backyard?
Yeah, back to the backyard. I go back to doing that.
God, you're lazy.
I am. I don't like to go.
It's going to be in his sandals and little shorts.
Well, think about this though, right? Back in the old days,
That's where it was.
That's what it was. You have the guy come over to the house and you let him clean your house up, and then you taught him some stuff.
Oh my God, you are totally doing that.
Yes.
Oh, I feel bad for you, Eric. I'm sorry.
Eric, I love you. I feed you every night when you come over, goddamn.
He feels bad enough already. You're making it worse.
So my good student, Eric, he trains with me, I think 2, sometimes 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Right? He'll come over on a Wednesday night because that's his available time, and I allow it. But because I'm Filipino.
And it happens to be dinner time.
And it happens to be dinner time, what do I have to do?
Feed him.
I feed him, right? Oh, have you eaten? Whether he says yes or no, he's got to eat.
Food.
He's going to eat.
Yeah.
So I charge him what I charge him, and then I feed him. So he's really just paying for his meal. but he gets a free lesson, right? So he's getting, he you know, hey, it's a good thing for him, right? Yeah, man. At least that's how, again, I'm not really charging, but I'm charging. I'm charging him for the food that I have to go.
This is what I deal with, folks. This is the guy I learned from. So, in conclusion.
We're at that point.
This is Rick. Like, honest to God, I spent the last 9 years learning this history of him, and I'll stand behind him and vouch for him in front of anybody. I don't care who it is, because I believe in what he has given me, and not because he gave it to me, but because I've taken a similar process that he took in his growth and learning, and that I evaluated for myself. I try to poke holes. I questioned his shit all the time because I want to know whether or not it holds water. And
right.
You have to test it. You have to stress test it. And not just the physical stuff, but also the ideas behind it.
Right. Even more so, right? My biggest question to you always is, can you poke a hole in it? Or, what do you see the flaws? And can we fix those if there are some holes? And
they're not arguments, but they become discussions between him and I. And I think this is where I really do feel like his equal, is because we both converse about what we're talking about, the idea behind it. And then it's like, okay, but what about this? And then we were talking about this. And then we make sense of it. It's like, okay, but we wouldn't be able to explain it to new people this way. And he's like, what do you mean? Well, you understand this and this, but how is the person going to make that connection? And it's like, maybe we could say it this way, or maybe we can talk about this, or we associate it with this.
And it's definitely become a collaboration between you and I, right? And again, that's why I although you're my student, I don't see you that way as much anymore, right? I mean, I'll give Naeem a lesson where we just talk now, right? Mm-hmm. And I say, oh, here's an idea, work on this. And then you'll come back and say, oh, here it is. I'm like, great.
Dude, we've met for class like 5 minutes before the other students get here. He was like, here, Naeem, let me show you this. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. All right, now teach the other students.
Yeah.
Fuck. But the thing is that at this point in time, I don't even think about it anymore. It's more like, oh, I get it. And then he says, teach it to them. I'm like, okay. But I don't teach it in any way that you taught it to me.
Nope.
But they get it. They get the
And then I'm always standing by with a broom to mop them up and clean up whatever.
I was like, God damn it, stupid ass. Said it wrong.
See, I'm the janitor. I had to tie that in, right?
So this is Rick in the martial art nutshell. Where he started from, where he is, the influences that he's had, and in my eyes, the legitimacy of his receipt of this acknowledgement, this certificate that he got from the OKO.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you again very much.
Jason, Dennis, you guys are awesome.
Sorry we couldn't be there in person.
Yeah. And I felt really bad about it.
I felt terrible.
They invited me to do a seminar out there, and that was the first one that I actually said yes to.
And they were going to give you the certificate then and there in front of everybody.
Yeah, and then I had my back surgery,
and
I wasn't going to be able to, even if I could fly out, I wasn't going to be any good.
Oh yeah, and then we won't talk about me. The point is that he couldn't go, so I couldn't go, and we couldn't go.
Yeah, we would have had blood squirting all over the place.
Yeah, you were still leaking then.
Oh yeah. That was
really terrible.
So to you guys, I apologize for not getting out there.
Very
Hopefully
sorry.
next year, invite me again.
Yeah,
I'll do anything I can to come out.
We'll make sure he's not having surgery that day.
That's right. I'll postpone it.
Yeah.
even I'll postpone anything I'm coming.
His arm fell off.
It's okay.
Stupid. But I'm glad we put it out there, folks. Thank you for joining us on another one of our colleague conversation.
Yeah,
special colleague conversation.
Special edition of colleague conversation.
Special edition?
Yeah. Well, this is going to happen.
You're definitely special. You're definitely special. But thank you again for watching another one of our colleague conversations with me, Naeem, and my special
Rick
guest.
Ramos.
Ramos.
Do I get to say it? And in 3, 2, 1, cut!